There's a man who leads a life of danger. To everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man. They've given you a number and taken away your name. Beware of pretty faces that you'll find. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Be careful what you say, or you'll give yourself away. Odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man. They've given you a number and taken away your name. Welcome to another episode of the Unrelenting Alchemist. We're talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, Hermeticism, and the spiritual secrets of the universe that we were never taught. Another exciting episode, all spiritual all the time. Throughout the annals of human history, there have always existed whispers of forgotten truths, spiritual laws, and cosmic blueprints preserved only by the initiated. Among these sacred remnants, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth stand as one of the most enigmatic, controversial, and revered texts of esoteric tradition. Said to have been written by Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom as well as magic, these tablets are often associated with Hermes Trismegistus, the Greek-Egyptian synthesis of divine intellect. Together, they form the philosophical cornerstone of Hermeticism itself, which is a system of spiritual science shrouded in symbolism, metaphysics, and the eternal search for what we would call the divine union. In this video, we're going to explore the origins and the teachings of the Emerald Tablets, the figure of Hermes Trismegistus, the pillars of Hermeticism, and the deeper spiritual secrets that a modern system of education and religion in this day and age have just simply overlooked or concealed. In so doing, we're going to reclaim a fragment of the universal truths that have been veiled beneath what is now dogma and materialism. So let's talk about the mythic origins of Thoth as well as the Emerald Tablets. Thoth, known as Jehudi in ancient Egyptian mythology, was the ibis-headed god associated with wisdom, language, writing, magic, and the moon. And it's so funny because I've been seeing ibises everywhere I go whenever I drive into work. Thoth was said to be the divine scribe who recorded the judgments of souls and inventor of hieroglyphs. The Emerald Tablets, often attributed to Thoth in mystical circles, are purported to be a record of his cosmic knowledge, written in an unbreakable green crystal and preserved throughout the ages. According to the esoteric lore, Thoth did not die, but rather ascended, becoming a spiritual guide to all of humanity. Thoth's knowledge was safeguarded in the form of the tablets and hidden in the Great Pyramid of Giza, or possibly even elsewhere, depending on the legend that you're listening to. Whether symbolic or literal, the tablets are seen not just as writings, but rather as master mystical keys to decoding the fabric of the cosmos. Let's switch over to Hermes Trismegistus. He is the syncretic sage that during the Hellenistic period, as Egypt came under Greek rule, Thoth was merged with the Greek god Hermes, the divine messenger, the trickster, and the guide of souls. This fusion gave birth to Hermes Trismegistus, meaning the thrice great Hermes, so named for being the master of the three realms of wisdom, alchemy, astrology, and theurgy. Hermes Trismegistus is credited with writing a vast body of spiritual texts which have been known now collectively as the Hermetica, including the Corpus Hermeticum, and the Asclepius. These texts articulated a profound cosmology, the one mind, the demiurgic logos, the correspondence between macrocosm and microcosm, and the divine potential that is latent within all human beings in the 3D. Hermes was revered as a prophet by both early Christians as well as Islamic mystics. In the Middle Ages, Renaissance alchemists like Paracelsus and philosophers such as Giordano Bruno invoked his name. They saw Hermeticism as a direct link to an ultimate divine truth, unfiltered by the corruption of many institutions. So let's go into the core teachings. Hermeticism rests on several foundational principles, most famously articulated in the Kabbalion, which is a modern Hermetic text purportedly based on ancient teachings. These principles are, firstly, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. Reality originates in thought. All physical matter is an expression of what we would consider to be divine consciousness. There's the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. The microcosm reflects with the macrocosm. The inner world mirrors the outer world. What about the principle of vibration? Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Everything is in constant motion. The higher the vibration, the closer to the spiritual plane. Thus, it is always important on our journey to try to vibrate to higher and higher levels so that we can transcend this 3D around us. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Opposites are identical in nature. Light and dark, hot and cold. These extremes meet and are reconciled in unity. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. All things rise and fall. Life moves in cycles. Understanding the rhythm helps one ride the tides of fortune and misfortune. Now, of course, it does seem like this is setting up a binary kind of thing, but don't worry about that. It can be on a spectrum as well. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Karma, intention, and consequence are inescapable laws of the universe. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and its feminine principles. True creation arises from the balance of receptive and projective energies. These principles form the foundation of Hermetic wisdom. They're not mere abstractions, but rather master tools that are used to conquer the seen and the unseen forces that govern all the existence that we know. What about the secrets of the universe? Well, many of them are hidden in plain sight. And unfortunately, we've reached a point in history where a lot of the information has been buried, even though it's right there for you to find. Modern society educates its youth in math, science, literature, and history, but remains largely silent on the metaphysical laws, the energetic dynamics, as well as the spiritual reality. While science has probed the quantum realm and hinted at the observer effect, Hermeticism teaches that all is mind and consciousness is the root of all experience. I'm thinking Descartes here, if you've ever read Descartes' readings. Where modern economics trains us to hoard and exploit, Hermetic teachings show how true abundance comes from alignment, resonance, and balance with the divine flow. Among the secrets obscured by many modern-day institutional systems, and possibly those in the past as well, that started the process of getting us down this road, first we have the true nature of the self. We're not merely flesh, blood, and ego. Hermeticism teaches that the soul, or nous, is a spark of the divine. To awaken is to remember our eternal nature and reclaim the inner temple of God within. Perhaps in Yoruba, one might think of that as the oversoul. Alchemy is spiritual transformation. While many think of alchemy as an outdated quest to turn lead into gold, Hermetic alchemy is about turning the base metal of our lower nature into the goal of divine consciousness. And if you've been following this channel long enough, you know that's at the heart of the Unrelenting Alchemist. The Emerald Tablets describe this as the purification of the soul through fire and transmutation. Energy and vibration govern reality. Everything is frequency. Thoughts, emotions, and words emit vibrations. Lower frequencies attract chaos and stagnation. Higher frequencies align with love, healing, and divine guidance. This underpins practices like mantra, music, and, of course, sacred geometry. Time is an illusion. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth declares, time is an illusion that binds the soul. It is only through mastery that one can escape the cycle. Thus, we're not necessarily always thinking on a linear level. There are non-linear natures that we don't think about or talk about. And spiritual evolution involves moving beyond the linear trap of birth and death into timeless awareness. Death is not the end. Both the tablets and Hermeticism view death as transformation, not termination. The soul migrates through planes and incarnations, refining itself like a pearl through many lifetimes. This echoes the teachings of ancient Egypt, India, as well as many of the early Gnostics. Suppression of Hermetic knowledge. The church fathers of late antiquity condemned the Hermetic texts as heresy, even while absorbing some of their metaphysics into early Christian doctrine. How hypocritical is that? The burning of the Library of Alexandria, the witch hunts of medieval Europe, and the mechanistic philosophies of the Enlightenment further suppress this knowledge. Now you have to ask yourself as you come to this juncture, or this juxtaposition, as it were, why would such wisdom be buried? Because Hermeticism empowers the individual. It teaches that one need not rely on priests, gurus, and politicians for salvation. The divine spark within each person is the true key to enlightenment. You have freedom of conscience. Your journey is your own. But this threatens hierarchical control systems, which prefer dependent followers over sovereign beings. Even today, mainstream education, media, and religion really discourage introspection, inner alchemy, and the pursuit of divine gnosis. In a world of distractions, silence and contemplation are truly revolutionary acts, and they seek to keep you distracted at every turn. The Emerald Tablets' key passages and interpretations are definitely of note here. One of the most widely quoted versions of the Emerald Tablets comes from a translation by Dr. Dorial in the 20th century. Though many might question its historicity, and thus it's open for debate, the spiritual wisdom it offers still resonates across traditions. And that key passage is this: that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracle of the one thing. This describes the unity of all levels of reality, the spiritual and the material, the celestial and the terrestrial. It encourages us to seek alignment between our higher and lower natures. Another key passage: man is in the process of changing to forms that are not of this world. Grows he in time to the formless, a plane on the cycle above. This refers to spiritual evolution. As consciousness refines itself, the soul rises to subtler planes beyond physical incarnation. Another key passage: light, O man, is the key to all. Seek ye the light, and the path shall be opened. Light here symbolizes divine wisdom, consciousness, and truth. Seeking light means seeking enlightenment, not through dogma, but through lived experience, through critical self-inquiry, as well as alignment with truth. But never be so tough on yourself. You want to ask the hard questions, but you also want to remember you've come a long way. Hermetic practices of modern seekers. While the tablets in Hermetica are written in symbolic language, the real application lies in the spiritual discipline. Hermetic practices include at this time, but these are all suggestions. You don't have to take them all to heart. Meditation, entering the silence to commune with the all. Visualization, using imagination as a bridge to higher realities. affirmation and mantras, tuning the voice to divine resonance. Om. Inner alchemy, observing thoughts and transmuting emotional energy. Sacred geometry, contemplating patterns of divine order. Ultimately, Hermeticism is indeed a lived path. It is not enough to read. One must become the wisdom. The universe, as Hermes teaches, is not outside of us, it is inside of us. The temple is the body. The altar is the heart. The light is within. Let's conclude. We're talking about the reawakening of the forgotten science of the soul. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth and the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus do not belong to any one religion. They do not belong to any one culture. They are universal. They point to the truth behind all symbols, that man is divine in origin, and I don't like using the word man, but that's how much of it is written. 7 Hermetic principles are not dogma, but a spiritual physics, a guide to walking upright in a world asleep to its own divinity. To study Hermeticism is to reclaim forgotten gnosis. To live its truth is to awaken the light within. As Hermes said, if you do not make what is within you as what is outside of you, what is outside will destroy you. And I've often heard that attributed to Jesus Christ as well. In a time of chaos, many of us are afflicted with spiritual amnesia, but the tablets are a beacon for those ready to learn and understand. These are the secrets we were never taught, but have always known in the depths of our soul, in the divine being that is within each and every one of us. So thank you for joining me in the Sacred Hour. This has been the Unrelenting Alchemist. Until next time, remember to walk wisely, walk bravely, and when the dark calls, answer not with fear, but with fire and light. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you.